All right, folks, we are live. So if you are watching on Facebook right now, you're on the Geaux Rouge Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page, we should be having a little bit of video action going on. We do encourage you guys to share. It's happening right now. We do encourage you guys to share the video. I am sitting here with Katie, Scott, Brandon, and Jeanne from Walk-Ons. We are going to start this episode 59 of the Geaux Rouge show. By the way, Scott, I just want to say I appreciate you getting Brandon Landry in the chat, but no Drew Brees, no Drew. I mean,
he's busy this week.
He has a day job.
Whatever. Kidding. I appreciate having all of you guys here. I had lunch with Scott the other day at Umami. It was great.
We can push it 3 weeks and then he'll be free, but no time for 3 weeks.
Don't tease me. If you can get Drew Brees on here. So look, I have a bucket list. My bucket list is I want to have brunch with Shaquille O'Neal at one point in my life before I die. Yeah. And brunch is ambiguous, Brandon. It can be Walk-Ons. It can be McDonald's. I don't care. I want to have brunch with Shaq. That's number one. Number two is I want to have Drew Brees on the show at some point. That's okay. That's kind of that's a distant, like, no offense to Drew. Shaq's the priority. Drew's like okay, I can't get Shaq. I'll have Drew. I didn't say that. All right. So Brian, as soon as you're ready, let me know and we'll do the intro. And it's going to be, guys, it's going to be a 2-minute intro and then I will start introducing folks. Okay. All right. So Brian says we're ready. So give me a second and I will introduce the show off and we'll go from there. Okay. And if everybody could be on mute until we start, I would greatly appreciate that. And then on Facebook, last thing, on Facebook, people are kind of comment. So if you know the comments and you want to give shout outs and all that, you can certainly do that. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is episode 59, season 2, episode 2. It's all how you look at things. It's either episode 2 of season 2 or it's episode 59. If you're listening on Facebook Live or if you're listening on Saturday at noon on Talk 107.3, welcome to the show. This week on Geaux Rouge Show, we are letting Walk-Ons take over the episode. We've got Scott, Brandon, Jeanne, and Katie in from Walk-Ons. They're all busy folks, but they're taking a break from their busy schedules to join us on the show. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll notice that we are in a Zoom format, kind of like the Brady Bunch. We've got everybody kind of stacked up on everybody. If you're listening, you won't really notice much of a difference. This is the COVID world we're living in. What this does allow is for us all to have a whole bunch of fun together at the same time. Before we start our episode, let's thank our show sponsors. The Geaux Rouge Show is brought to you by the following sponsors: NAI, Ladder and Bloom Commercial Realtors, the Smith Shanklin Sosa Personal Injury Law Firm. Those are your personal injury go-to lawyers. Definitely my favorite personal injury law firm in Baton Rouge. Breck Parks, Sullivan Steakhouse, your neighborhood steak restaurant. La Divina Italian Cafe, open every day with your custom-made from scratch breakfast. I, in fact, had a frittata omelet for breakfast this morning. It was choice, to use the 80s phrase. It was choice. And then last but not least, the best criminal defense firm in the universe, the Borkart Law Firm. That's my lemonade stand. That's my little small Walk-Ons lemonade stand. If you want to get more information about the Geaux Rouge Show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. We have all our episodes on demand, ready for you to watch. You can also go to our YouTube channel, the Geaux Rouge YouTube channel, and watch episodes. If you have a show idea, if you think, hey, Franz, you need to have Shaquille O'Neal on your show, email me at info@geauxrouge.com and then also give me a link and a connection to getting Shaquille O'Neal on the show. Connect us. Maybe have me over for a birthday party or something, and we'll make that happen. So info@geauxrouge.com. But without further ado, we've got Brandon Landry. Brandon is the founder and CEO of Walk-Ons. We've got Scott Taylor, the president and COO, and also His Royal Highness, the King of Artemis. Jeanne Stuart, Corporate Human Resources Manager, and Katie Thornton, Game On Foundation Manager. Guys and gals, good morning. Welcome to the Geaux Rouge Show.
Morning, brother. Appreciate you having us.
Morning.
So I got the pleasure of going to, it was my pleasure, not Brandon's. It was my pleasure going to high school with Brandon, graduating Catholic High class of 97. Back then, Brandon was still a big thing. He was kind of a big deal back then. So it was awesome getting to watch someone I went to high school with not only get to do the things he did at LSU, but also to start a business. In fact, I'm married into a Walk-Ons family. My wife and my brother-in-law have some ties to the delicious restaurant. So we're going to start with you, Brandon. What was it that drove you to start a restaurant, and how did you come up with the concept and idea?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate the kind words. We go back way too long, but the 1997 was a good year. And so, I walked on to the LSU basketball team the following year. If you guys remember, that was John Brady's first year. And the program was a little bit in disarray, had some probation. And so they needed some practice players. And so I tried out for the team and I got cut. And then a couple weeks later, I don't think they had enough players to even scrimmage with. And so they called me back. Our other classmate, Anthony Piazza, was a manager. He called me back. He said, "Hey, man, you want to practice? You got to be here at 5:30 tomorrow morning." I said, "I'll be there." The rest is kind of history. 4 years later, I stayed on the team. I was a walk-on, learned so much. And, about midway through our career, I was playing about 7 minutes per year, which you guys didn't know anything about basketball. There's 40 minutes in every damn game. So 7 minutes for the entire year is not a whole lot. So I figured out at that point I probably wasn't going to play in the NBA. So I better figure out another way to make a living. I grew up a sugarcane farmer's son across the river, and I just didn't see that in my future. And so my founding partner and my teammate at the time, Jack Warner, and we were literally on the way back from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. I think we just got beat by about 20, 25 points that night. All the starters were sleeping. We were wide awake. We didn't play a minute. They got those little bev naps on every plane that you're on. And we started doodling. And that's where Walk-Ons was created. It was more just an idea.
So I've got to interrupt you. Had you prior to that time, had you had any experience in the food and beverage industry?
Eating and drinking as a customer.
Oh, okay. That was what I was really getting at. So basically what you're telling me is this is akin to Franz walking up to Brandon and saying, "Hey, dude, I got this great idea. I've got no experience in the food and beverage industry, but I got this great idea. Let's start a restaurant bar."
100%.
So this is circa what year?
This was 1999, 2000. I'm 20 years old. Jack's 21. So we come back. Yeah, I'll get to that point. So we come back. We're in an entrepreneurship class at LSU. Dr. Robert Justice, you guys probably remember, Dr. Bob Justice, and we did it as a school. Probably was a business plan project, and we got a C. Wasn't necessarily because of the idea, but as you know, Franz, I was a C student my whole life, so that was par for the course. But it wasn't necessarily the idea. He's like, "You guys need some help with your business plan," and so we went to work. Being young and not knowing a whole lot, it was like, "Look, we need help," and so we accepted help wherever we could, and we started getting some investors at least interested in the idea, right? Not in us, but the idea. And so we started going to banks, and, that was a little bit difficult to your point, 20 years old, little to no restaurant experience. We at least started waiting tables and bartending, once we kind of start, all right, we probably figure out this business, right? And so we went to bank number one after a little while, and they're like, "Guys, yeah, we love it, but no, we can't take that risk on you two young knuckleheads, and the restaurant business is risky in itself, and all the yada, stuff we expected to hear."
So let me jump in. Jeanne, Stuart, corporate human resources manager, is in the virtual studio. She was telling me she has been with you guys for how many years, Jeanne?
17 years.
So
17 years this past August.
So is that fair to say, like, day one, Jeanne was there, or shortly thereafter?
Well,
okay.
No doubt. Well, actually, you're probably about to make 18 because we opened
And yeah,
We'll be open 18 years in August.
right.
But we broke ground around March. And so
Yeah.
you were on team.
About 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years prior to opening, I met Jack and Brandon, and they said, hey, look, we've got this concept and we think you might be the person. I had been managing restaurants for a little while, so we think you might be the person to come help us get this place open.
So I'm going to be blunt. I'm an honest guy. I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I'm an honest guy. And I had lunch with, right? No, right. And by the way, I was a C law student, just goes to show you.
I feel you.
Yeah. So I had lunch with Scott not too long ago next to y'all's corporate headquarters. And I told Scott my initial reaction when Walk-Ons opened up. I can remember it distinctly. I remember my knee-jerk reaction, and I can say this. I'm not an employee. I don't work with you guys. I said to myself, and in fact, I was dating somebody at the time, and I said the same thing. I was like, this is like a cleaner version of the Chimes. And it was, I mean, the food was, Scott was very humble and about where you started out. But I thought you guys were great starting out. I was not a big drinker back then. I do remember I had some of my college friends that were waitresses back then. But talk to me a little bit about the biggest challenges of opening up a restaurant near LSU.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's very kind of you, but you're not being honest. We were not good in the very beginning.
I thought you were okay.
So, and that's just it, right? So, I mean, right now, today, fast forward today, we're a franchise system, right? We sell a system, a process, a brand, everything that goes into opening and sustaining a successful restaurant. We didn't do that, right? And so we didn't go buy it from. We wanted to start our own brand. We thought, yeah, well, we can figure this out. It's just burgers and beer, right? Well, no, it's not. And so I think a couple things to answer your question. I mean, first of all, being young and inexperienced, and like I said, little to no experience, really, definitely no ownership experience and no management experience. But, we talk about it all the time here. What we did have is being a walk-on and having that walk-on mentality and knowing that team before self, and that it's going to take everyone to be successful here. We always hit the great culture, right? We always had to where, man, if we do this together, we can make it happen. But, we found out very early on, if you don't have the systems, if you don't have the processes, you're not going to be consistent. You know what I mean? And look, the brand, the concept, it grew and matured with us. When we finally opened, we were 23 and 24. What's important to you? What was important to us, Franz, when we were 23 and 20, like, let's go drink a beer, watch a game, and, like, we'll worry about the food later. Actually, it's an inside joke, and it's kind of outside now too, but the original drawing, the sketch that's on every Bev Nap and every Walk-Ons today, we forgot the damn kitchen. It's not a great way to start a restaurant business without a kitchen. But once again, it's what was important to young 20, 22-year-olds.
So let's transition there, because I know you've got a talented guy working with your team, His Royal Highness Scott Taylor, who is from the restaurant industry. Talk to me a little bit about, because we're going to talk about leadership and teamwork probably in the second segment of the episode. I want to talk about those systems, because I will tell you, as someone who owns a small business, Scott, you got to unmute. As someone who owns a small business, I am constantly, while I've worked for lawyers, I've worked for law firms, I'm playing fantasy law office all the time. Like, how can I do this? How can I set up a system that not only works for me, but like fantasy world of, I run a 20-lawyer law firm, and I have a playbook. Talk to me about implementing those systems from day one to where you guys are today, Scott.
Yeah, so, I mean, everything was here. I mean, the intangibles were here. The brand was phenomenal. The culture was great. Just a lot of things weren't put into writing, honestly, or from recipes to how we opened the restaurant, how we closed the restaurant. The things were there, and we tweaked a few things, but just made it consistent. So once we put it down, everybody signed off on it, then we could start to drive consistency. That was the problem, I think, in the beginning. There were two restaurants with Walk-Ons on Coursey Boulevard in Burbank. They were both Walk-Ons, but they were different. And so how could we make those two the same? And then in 2011 opening in Lafayette, that was a big deal to go outside of Baton Rouge with the brand that, I can remember, I was really new here and people just like, man, that's who's going to take over the Walk-Ons building when they close in Lafayette. It's a great location. I'm like, man, we're not going to freaking close, and it just, it took a lot of effort to say, we're going to commit to the Walk-Ons way, the wow back then, and that Walk-Ons way was awesome. And once we committed to a consistent plan of systems, I mean, the brand just took off, and that opening, I think, changed the trajectory of the company big time. We were very successful there, voted best new restaurant in Lafayette. 6 months later, voted best new restaurant in New Orleans. And those were awards that Walk-Ons had never received.
So I'm a very superstitious human being. When I started my own law practice, my own small business, I remember not wanting to wrap my brain around or think about the concept of having made it or being stable enough to not worry about closing, because I constantly wanted to be in the state of hunger and hustle. And so I guess for my next question for you guys is, was there a moment in time where Brandon or Scott, you guys thought, hey, this thing's going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I think once we went to Lafayette and New Orleans, outside of our, because like to Scott's point, everybody was like, well, it's an LSU spot. That there's no way these guys will make it outside of Baton Rouge. And then with the help of Scott and other team members that really came in and put our system, we went to Lafayette and knocked it out of the park. And it was a restaurant, it wasn't next to Tiger Stadium and they could make it on game days. No, we were out on College Saloon and Ambassador Caffrey, 15 minutes away from UL. And it was a lunchtime dinner spot, families and teams and things like that. And then we went to New Orleans and, of course you had the big events that were happening down there, but we won best new restaurant in New Orleans in 2011, not just sports bar, best new restaurant. And
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah. But we never got to the, I think, having that walk-on mentality and that underdog mindset, it's always like, we got to prove people wrong, because it didn't matter. It's still to this day, man. Like we just opened number 46 and 47 yesterday, and there's still people that doubt you, right? And so I think that's part of our vision is having a lot, inspiring a lifestyle that really has that underdog mindset, and everyone has an underdog mindset, and the people that are successful in this world have it every day, and so we still look at it like we haven't made it, we got to keep, and we can get better. Or we can get worse. We're not going to stay.
Right.
And so, that's I get your point of your question, but I mean, there was, like I said, still to this day, there's doubters. And especially after those first couple, we felt better. Okay. The brand is expandable, but we haven't made it.
So I got a sticky note on my office on my computer that says the vultures are circling.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mentality I've always had is, man, people are sometimes rooting for you, but sometimes they're rooting against you and they're just waiting. Let's talk numbers real fast. Jeanne, 46 and 47 opened up yesterday, 47 restaurants, approximately how many employees?
Well, system-wide, there's about 8,000 to 9,000 employees.
Wow. And then you manage approximately what, 500-ish?
About 500.
So talk to me about that. I mean, you started as a manager of the Burbank Walk-Ons, right? Talk to me about growing into this role of now you are corporate human resources manager.
Right. So, the involvement with our management team, of course, as we've grown, they are instrumental in the days in and outs of the business. So I'm really here for them as someone they can come to when they need assistance for any issues in their restaurants. But typically with the culture within the restaurants, you see that positive culture, the team member or the team mentality. So there typically doesn't tend to be a lot of issues, if you will, from a standpoint of an HR perspective. It is that the family that you'd be surprised. Like we were talking about on had some old team members on Facebook the other day saying, look how many marriages came out of Walk-Ons. Look how many, the friendships, the lifelong friendships. And
got a marriage right there in Walk-Ons.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, okay, we've got about 5 minutes left in the first segment. If you're tuning in, you're listening to the Geaux Rouge Show. We've got Walk-Ons in the house. We've got Katie, Jeanne, Brandon, and Scott joining us. And look, Katie, you've been kind of quiet, Katie. Don't worry. We're going to talk about community involvement in the foundation in the second segment. Look, if I want to get more information about Walk-Ons, either just a good place to eat or if I wanted to go big and get my own little piece of the pie, where would I go?
Yeah, everything's on our website, Franz. It's walkons.com. You either got, from our story to our menus to our community involvement, which Katie's going to talk about here, or you can go to our franchising page if you want to jump in. Come on.
Shoot me those two. Give me those two websites. That was my cute, Brandon. I was trying to let you give the website. So what are those websites?
Yeah, it's walkons.com, walk-ons.com.
Was that an easy website? I got to ask, was that an easy website to get, or was there some wrangling on with that? Because I will tell you.
Actually, back in the day, it's a very funny story you asked. They had a lady in Kansas that had, Jeanne, you remember this? She had a little stepping stone business that you through your flower beds, and they were called Walk-Ons. And so we called her up and we were like, hey, ma'am, you think we can have that name? She's like, no, I got a striving business, So because we wanted it without the hyphen. We just wanted walkons.com, but she would not give it up. And so still to this day, it's got the hyphen.
So I owned GeauxRouge.net because someone else owned GeauxRouge.com. And I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for the domain, but I was not happy with how much I paid for the domain. But I had to, it was my baby. I wanted it. I was like, my marketing people were like, do you really need the .com that much? And I was like, you don't understand. I absolutely need the .com. And oddly enough, while we have the time, we have about 3 minutes left. Oddly enough, the Borchardt law firm, my law firm, there are other Borcharts around the country and in Europe that practice law. And I've had offers on www.borchartlawfirm.com. So I'm just sitting on a gold mine there. Sitting on a gold mine.
There you go.
Look, what is it? We got about 2 minutes left in this first segment. I got to ask, has it been difficult dealing with Scott since he became the King of Artemis, or is it same old Scott, no big deal?
The king wasn't such a bad idea, but when he won Big Buddy's Dancing with the Stars, that we couldn't even fit him in through the door.
I didn't know you won Big Buddy's Dancing. When was this?
Did he?
Watch some Pitbull, brother.
We got videos, Franz. We'll send them to you.
So let me say this. I've enjoyed my interactions with Scott. Scott first got on the show with the crew of Artemis. They begrudgingly had some kings on, and I actually did not know Scott, but I knew Joe Poza, Stephanie's uncle. And so I was like, who's this Scott guy? I didn't even know where Scott worked. In fact, that was the first conversation I had with Scott I was like, hey, what do you do for a living? So I cherish my Scott time now. He's a great guy. Look, if you're just now tuning in, we're going to take our first break for the Geaux Rouge Show. Don't go anywhere. We stick around at Facebook Live. If there are comments, Kim Morgan says, hey, guys. Kim Morgan, your crew member. Anyway, stick around on Facebook Live. We do the show between shows there, and then we'll come back with segment number 2. This is Franz Borchardt, and you are listening to the Geaux Rouge Show. We'll be right back. All right, so we're going to pause for a second, and then we're still on Facebook Live, guys. Brian will tell us when we can come back. So, look, I got to ask, Big Dancing with Big Buddy.
So Brandon did it first. So
Brandon did it for okay, look.
So he says, hey, these guys want to have lunch with you from Big Buddy. It's kind of cool. One of the guys from Marucci just want to talk about it. And so I get in the booth at Burbank, kind of landlocked in the corner with Galen Mack, who's the director there, and a couple of the folks, and they convinced me to do it. I was freaking terrified, man. It's like, first I'm like, I don't like to dance in front of anybody, much less a couple thousand people.
So I will tell you, I've done a lot of stupid stuff for the community. I've dressed up like a bear with a tutu on and danced on stage. I have been roasted. The thing I have not done, and I am very reluctant to do, is dance. I have no dance skills. I mean, I know that's going to come as a shock to all you guys. No dance skills. And like those routines are not like easy, man. Those are like choreographed routines.
No,
Yeah.
they're not easy at all.
How much money did you raise, Scott?
I think 38,000.
38,000. You raised 38,000? Just
Yeah.
shaking your butt?
I was a whore on the internet. I'm just telling you.
I can appreciate that. I mean, no judgment. There's no judgment. I'd be hypocritical of me, you know. So look, if you're just now tuning into Facebook, that's what we're talking about, dancing like horse. I am with the crew from Walk-Ons. Very excited. Brandon, look, I know you guys are all very busy. I know last time I saw Brandon, in fact, Brandon was the keynote speaker at the Baton Rouge Entrepreneur Week that morning. And then Brandon did a fireside chat for 368 with some other guy that's well known. Yeah, Todd Graves. Yeah, that Todd Graves guy. Dude,
He's got a couple restaurants.
you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, I appreciate you guys making the time, and I also, dude, I got to tell you, I was talking about this before you came on while we're killing some time. My wife is good friends with Shanna Sizemore, and her husband is one of you guys. And we were talking about the culture. We were in Disney together for something. My wife is a Disney addict. It is what it is. But we were in Disney In fact, I think you were in Disney around the same time too.
I was there.
Yeah. So I was talking to Gordon about the culture, and man, we're going to talk about it in the second segment. The culture of Walk-Ons, team building, leadership opportunities. And I mean, I think it speaks volumes. You've got Jeanne that's been with the company for close to 18 years now, who worked. I mean, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of this, but like, you're kind of a big deal now, Jeanne. You worked your way up from manager all the way, you know. So yeah, I like that. So we're gonna be coming back in a couple of seconds. Anything we need to talk about that we have not talked about so far, guys?
No, I think you're on it. I know you're going to get to our game on. But I mean, our culture is what separates us. I mean, and so if we're going to tap on that, in fact, everyone can.
So Emily is watching right now, and I'm already giving Emily props. She's already shared this video like a couple of times now. So shout out to Emily. I need to get Emily doing the marketing for Borgart Law Firm. It's awesome.
You can't have her.
No, she's awesome.
Dude, I've got the next best thing. I've got a wife that does occasional work for you guys, which yields some Walk-Ons goodies sometimes. I like it. By the way, Scott, I'm just throwing this out there. I wear a size XXX. I'm just throwing that out there.
You want the orange one?
Dude, I wear swag like I'm wearing a 368 company fleece right now. Granted, it's a Patagonia. And even though I never go hiking or out in the mountains, I feel like if you wear a Patagonia, you're like a cool, rugged dude. So, I mean, Brandon's got the Back to the Future vest on. So, I mean, I do actually. Dude, I got to tell you, ever since I saw that on you, I've thought, could I pull that with my logo on it? So that's, by the way, branding is all about giving props and respect, and then immediately copying the branding in your own little way. So we're definitely going to talk about the Game On Foundation. We're going to talk about teamwork and leadership, and then anything that you guys have coming up in 2021. Be thinking about what you want to chat about. I want to know, if I go out of state, where are the new hot spots I can go travel? If I wanted to go make a Walk-Ons vacation somewhere, where are the destinations I can go to get some Walk-Ons food and while seeing a cool place? Like,
Katie's got the map right behind her. She can take
it.
it.
Dude. Look, this map is pretty intense, right?
Okay.
You know, it depends on which department you're in. I have people ask me all the time, you know, where are your future locations? And, you know, y'all are in development all over the place, and where are y'all headed? And, you know, to their point, we're at 46, 47 locations, and man, that's not my day job. And it really is a lot to keep up with, but you know, we're the SEC market, right? Anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas to Florida. They're all good. They're all good locations.
Where in Florida? Talk to me about Florida. Where in Florida?
Okay, somebody want to jump in on our open
Scott?
locations in Florida?
And then one in Wesley Chapel, just north of Tampa.
Okay. So what was that first one?
I drive.
Orlando, I drive.
Right by Disney, and then
I was about to say.
Yeah, Tallahassee's 2 weeks away. Vieira, Florida is about a month away. Kendall, south of Miami, is a couple of weeks away. Lakeland, Florida, Kissimmee, right outside of Florida is going to be a big market for us. We've seen lots of success.
I see. Florida. Yeah, Florida people, and look, I mean this with love. Florida people like to get down with what you guys are serving. I mean, y'all's recipe is Florida. I mean, I know you're from Florida, Scott. I mean that with respect. So, so if you're tuning in, we are just killing time until we hop back on the second segment. We got Brandon Landry, the founder and CEO, excuse me, of Walk-Ons. We've got Scott Taylor, president and COO. We've got Jeanne Stuart, corporate human resources manager, and Katie Thornton, Game On Foundation managers. They're all just chilling with us. We're talking about Walk-Ons today. I am, if you don't know who I am, I was about to say Google me, but that would be so pretentious and arrogant and egotistical of me. I would never say something like that. This is Franz Borchardt, host of the Geaux Rouge Show. Incidentally, if you are coming in late to the show, you can also listen to us on the Talk 107.3 radio station on Saturdays at noon. And I will also upload this video content onto YouTube. We have a Geaux Rouge YouTube page. We have a Geaux Rouge LinkedIn. Scott, did you know we have a Geaux Rouge LinkedIn page?
No, it's crazy.
It's global, baby, global. A Baton Rouge concept, global. No, it's just Baton Rouge. So yeah.
Scott's the big LinkedIn guy, Franz.
I know, dude.
Man, that's me.
So Scott posted something on LinkedIn, a photo of me, his son, and Scott. I didn't even know, I don't know as many people that like that post, by the way, Scott. I'm like, I didn't know Scott was that cool of a dude. I mean, people are liking it, and I'm like, huh. So.
Yeah, it got 6,000 or 7,000 likes. It was pretty big.
Yeah, I had a little bit of like envy going on. It was, yeah. So, all right. We're just waiting on Brian to give us the all clear.
So we're not on right now. I can eat.
We're Facebook Live, but
Live.
but Facebook Live wants to know what does Brandon Landry eat as a snack?
Walk-Ons.
Small sliders.
So I had an early Zoom this morning with Jacques Jousset. He's doing a big deal on, sorry, I got a mouthful, for Drew Brees.
Okay.
I didn't get to eat breakfast. I got to eat, man. I get really hangry.
He's got to eat.
They can tell you.
I understand.
I can't think.
So I can fast. I can do. So I'm on keto. I can do the intermittent fasting during the day, but if I don't eat breakfast, I'm pissy. I'm you don't want to. Yeah, it's not good.
How is that keto? Good. I mean, it
so
works.
I've lost over 100 pounds, but it's a yo-yo. If you don't stay on it, you yo-yo. So I'm on the gaining weight
100?
plateau. 100, yeah. Big. I used to be a much bigger dude than I am now. I'm still a big dude. I'm still a big guy.
I think you lost weight, but I didn't think it was 100 pounds.
Yeah. I used to be type 2 diabetic.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not
the weight loss. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually, while we're killing time waiting for Brian. No rush, Brian. No rush. One of the things I want to kind of do in February and March is I want to start doing local health-oriented content. I did my first yoga session last week, and it was a game changer. I don't know if you guys have done yoga before. Game changer. When I was done, I was like, I don't think I've ever felt this good before. And it was amazing. I mean, it was and I didn't run 5 miles. I didn't do anything other than just do the positions. And God bless the yoga instructor. She knew. It was a private one. She knew that I'm a big, awkward dude. And so she didn't have me doing anything that was crazy. All right. So, Brian's asking me. Brian and I are in a Fat Guy 50 weight loss challenge. Fresh Junkie is helping us out. And Brian's asking me how much have I lost this week. I don't want to talk about it, Brian. It's my birthday week. I'm not talking about weight loss this week. All right. So thank you. It's tomorrow. Turning the big 4-2, baby. Big 4-2.
I'm right behind you.
I know. You look good for 42, Brandon. I'm
41 still. I got June.
okay. All right. So we're gonna do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the second segment of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is your host, Franz Borkhardt, episode 59, or for those who are just now starting to watch, season 2, episode 2. We've got Walk-Ons in the house. They have taken over the Geaux Rouge Show this week. We've got Brandon Landry, founder and CEO. We've got Scott Taylor, president and COO. Jeanne Stuart, corporate human resources manager, and Katie Thornton, Game On Foundation manager. Guys, welcome back to the second segment. Before we jump back in, we're going to thank our show sponsors. These are the businesses that make the Geaux Rouge Show possible. La Divina Italian Cafe, serving select wines, ice cold beer, plus their exclusive sorbet mimosa. This sorbet mimosa is the real deal, guys. You definitely want to check them out for brunch. The Borkhardt Law Firm, a criminal defense law firm. That's my lemonade stand. Good little lemonade stand. We do federal, state, and local criminal defense. Sullivan Steakhouse, your neighborhood steak restaurant. Breck Parks, the Smith Shanklin Sosa personal injury law firm. They are your go-to personal injury law firm. And last but not least, NAI, Ladder and Bloom, commercial realtors. They are actually, in addition to sponsoring Geaux Rouge, they sponsor a podcast that I host called The Real Disruptors. It is a fun podcast. The reason I host it is I know nothing about commercial real estate, and it's done from an outsider's perspective. So watching me fumble and folly and try to figure stuff out is always fun. It's actually very, very nice. We have local experts as well as experts from the Ladder and Bloom Pantheon come on. So definitely want to go to the Ladder and Bloom YouTube page and check that out. We are going to be dropping some new episodes soon. So Geaux Rouge Show. If you want more information, www.geauxrouge.com. And if you see these guests on and you're like, Franz, you need to have some other guests on, and here's who you need to have on, email me that list at info@geauxrouge.com. It is literally as easy as Scott tells me, hey, have you ever thought about having this guy on? And I'm like, yeah, send me their information, connect me, and we put them on the ship. So we were talking to the folks from Walk-Ons. Guys, welcome back to the second segment. I want to talk a little bit about community, because as prosperous as a company as you guys have, it seems like you've never forgotten the importance of being community oriented. And you guys are doing a lot of stuff locally to help the area community. I want to talk, Katie, talk to me a little bit about the Game On Foundation.
Yeah, so right in line with Brandon's section earlier about culture and where we started, and to your point of, at what point did you feel like you made it? I think that the mindset that we've never really made it, we just have to keep pushing and do better and make a positive impact is really where all of this is rooted. So we have what's called the Game On Foundation, and our mission is to support youth athletes in our Walk-Ons communities. We did a brand relaunch January 2020, and then of course COVID happened immediately after. So our typical mission, we would refurbish youth sports facilities, basketball courts namely, which is obviously where the vision started, was on the basketball court. We have 2 in Baton Rouge, that's the Riverbend Park and Expressway Park downtown. So we relaunched in January with real high hopes of what we were going to do for the year. And then, as is the theme of the year, things shifted very quickly. So we pivoted and started feeding people. We partnered with Front Burner Restaurants out of Dallas. It's actually a competitor of ours in the Dallas market, right? But times are tough, and it's collaboration over competition. And we saw what they were doing. So we jumped on board with them and started Furlough Kitchen, where we were feeding people, right? Any furloughed employee could come through and get a free meal. Times were tough. And then right on the heels of that, as everybody here knows, Louisiana was just in the cone of uncertainty all hurricane season, start to finish. I think we had 7 storms that hit Louisiana, including Lake Charles. That was Hurricane Laura. So we switched from Furlough Kitchen over to Relief Kitchen. And that was the same concept, right? Where we're giving out free meals to the community, to anybody in need. So throughout the year, we've served nearly 40,000 free meals starting in March of this year, and raised over $60,000. And that's across 14 different locations in 6 states. And I really think that the community involvement, the give back efforts that we focused on, which really was the point of what we were doing. You know, people needed help, and we had a service that we could provide, which was food. We had an opportunity to put some of our people to work in a time that a lot of people weren't working. And I think that community involvement is really what has helped sustain our locations throughout such a weird year. You know, there's so many businesses that are unfortunately closing for good, and we're growing and expanding. And that community involvement is something that Brandon has always really focused on. And the foundation is just a way for us to do that from a corporate umbrella, if you will. We're still very much involved on a local level in each of our locations, but the foundation is a way for us to really give back on a higher level.
Well, on behalf of the community here and the state of Louisiana, thank you guys for your generosity. Certainly everybody was hit very, very hard, both from a business standpoint and an employee standpoint. And I really do appreciate the efforts you guys have done as a foundation. But this just, I mean, to me, this just scratches the surface of the culture of Walk-Ons, which I want to talk about. So talk to me about developing a culture for this company from start to where we are today, because you guys seem to have a fantastic culture. So Brandon, talk to me a little bit about that culture.
Yeah, so it started with the heart of a walk-on, man. You know, I wasn't the star player like I mentioned earlier. I played 7 minutes, but I knew, you know, when we were playing Kentucky that week, you know, I knew I wasn't going to play in Rupp Arena, right? But I knew through my contribution in practice, I was making the team better, and I was getting our team ready to play Kentucky in Rupp Arena. So, you know, if you think about that, we took those philosophies and brought them into our business. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in my seat, Scott's seat, or if you're, you know, a line cook at one of our restaurants. You're part of the team, you know, and so that's how we live. And it's true through when our core values and our guiding principles, just making sure that, you know, we're embracing that underdog mindset. Everyone's got a story. And so, and within, like Katie just mentioned, I mean, it lives through us. When people have great cultures, when adversity hits like that, it can go one or two ways, depending on your culture, right? So they've got a lot of concepts out there, a lot of brands, a lot of small businesses that maybe didn't invest enough in their culture, in their human capital and everything pre-pandemic. And guess what? You know, I know things happen, but a lot of times, you know, those are the ones that when adversity hits, it's really hard to overcome. We knew that we were so strong internally and with our culture and making sure that, you know, when this thing hit, Scott and I, you know, we said, we got to stay positive, man. Like, that's the only way you can make it through something like this. Positive people change the world. And you know, when we've created a culture like that, and it, first of all, it attracts the right type of people, but it also energizes our team to fight for everything that we stand for. And so it's really great. You know, here we are, have this Game On Foundation. It supports youth sports facilities throughout the country. And then, you know, our team comes, look, hey, we got to go feed people. You know, we got to pivot. We got to go feed people. We got to go take care of people that are jobless right now. The hurricane hits. We got to go feed people that don't have a hot meal right now. Like that. Sorry, go ahead.
So one of the things that somebody was pointing out on the Facebook Live comment stream was your tagline, "We don't play when it comes to safety."
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic. I mean, that is, I don't know who came up with that. You know, I'll pretend like Scott, I'll give Scott credit for that. But no, kidding. But that's just, to me, that is emblematic of who you guys are. Is it fits in line with the team, you know, the team concept. You know, and to me, you know, there's a famous book called "The Obstacle Is the Way" by Ryan Holiday. I don't know if any of you guys have read it, but essentially that's the theme of the book is when you have obstacles, you turn them into opportunities. And this pandemic, look, I can only speak from my industry in terms of what it's been like being a small business owner during COVID, and it's been roller coaster ride galore. I do criminal law, so as you might imagine, crime hasn't stopped. But that being said, I saw some weird things happen with restaurants, the food and beverage industry, and I'm so pleased that you guys have rode the storm, so to speak, opening up new restaurants, opening up new cities. I want to talk a little bit more about teamwork and leadership, and okay, so you have this culture, right? How do you train it? How do you teach it? How does it evolve? And I call this the Trader Joe's model. I eavesdrop on a lot of Trader Joe's HR conversations in Baton Rouge because they happen. Probably not a great thing for them to be doing it at La Divina, but they do them in La Divina. And I'm just sitting there drinking coffee, listening to these team conversations, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I even asked the manager one day, I was like, I got to ask, like, do y'all have like a corporate playbook or something? Because this is just amazing. And we had a long conversation about it. Talk to me about, you have this culture. How do you spread it? How do you teach it? How do you sell it? How do you get everybody to embrace it?
Yeah, I'll go first, and I know Scott wants to chop in too. But I mean, look, leadership is very simple. It's a transfer of belief, right? And so, I mean, the world really trains people to be pessimistic, and we have to change that as leaders. And so, our goal over here is just to stay positive, and whatever aspect of the business we're talking about. I mean, people just want to, first of all, feel appreciated. They want to feel like they're a part of it, and they want to be rewarded or at least acknowledged, whether it be good or bad, right? You have to talk about something that may need some work as well. And so, like I said, it's a transfer of belief. And so, first of all, I have to believe it. As the leader of the company, I have to live it. Everything's authentic here. We have to make sure that our message is crystal clear to as a CEO, as a founder, as a CEO. I have to make, my one job is to make sure our vision is crystal clear to everyone. And our vision is to be more than a restaurant. And there's probably not a lot of restaurant companies out there that their vision is to be more than a restaurant. They might say, we want to be the best fine dining, attention to detail. Like, that's not even in our vision. We inspire a lifestyle that embraces the underdog mindset in all of us. We want to be more than a restaurant. And so if that vision is crystal clear to everyone you see on the screen here, to everyone in every restaurant out there, then we're doing our job. It becomes easy. It comes to life because everyone else fights for it. And I can scream till I'm blue in the face. I know that's where we are right now. It's not because, we got good food and we've improved over the last 18 years. Our buildings are great. I mean, we 80 TVs, 50 beers on tap. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. That stuff works, right? You got to have that. But it all starts with our culture and our people. And that's, like you said, have we made it? No, we haven't made it, because every day that's what we're trying to just get a little bit better at. And honestly, we want to be a lifestyle brand. Our eventual goal is it's a Walk-Ons lifestyle. And somewhat internally it is right now, but I think down the road it's going to be externally as well.
So I want to go to Jeanne. Jeanne, you were there from day one. Talk to me about what it was like to see this growth, see this development of culture. Did you ever see yourself still being with the company this far down the road?
Well, I did, I guess, I mean, I remember right before we opened Burbank, standing in the work trailer, and I said, what if it doesn't work? And that's when the mentality clicked in. Brandon, they said, look at how can it not work? And of course, it starts with us. It starts with our,
right.
As the operators of that restaurant, it started with our determination to not fail. And we may have had some losses on some days, but we were determined that we were going to continue to fight and push through. We were going to prove all the naysayers wrong. And we were going to make it work. it was all hands on deck. It was do what you need to do to get through the shift, get through the day, get through the week. And that's still, it's still the mentality, because it's everybody work together to make happen what's happening.
So Scott, I want to talk about lifestyle brand, because you are wearing a very, very sexy Walk-Ons paraphernalia right now. It's awesome. It's even, is that Catholic High Orange? I like it. So I want to talk about some of the stuff that Brandon was talking about earlier. You've been in the restaurant field for quite some time, right?
Yes.
All right. So go ahead.
So it's, I first met Jack and Brandon in 2010, and through a mutual friend that was working with them. And I'd worked for a founder-based company before, and typically founders are not Brandon Landry. They're very closed-minded. It's their baby. Don't ever tell them the baby's not pretty. It's you just kind of work with that deal and just fall in line. I was struck immediately with Brandon and Jack at the time, just saying, man, if you can help us get better, we just want to get better. It was never about we'd made it. And it was interesting, I think, over the years, and we have made lots of improvements, and they were making improvements at that time. But the brand has kind of transcended Brandon. It's we talk about protect the W, and the W is kind of the thread that we're all connected with. And when you say it's more than a restaurant, it's a lifestyle. It's our DNA, and people just do things here because they love what they do. It's not because it's for any other reason other than they just believe in the brand, and they believe that the brand provides so many things for so many people in different ways. We say it's a family. If you talk to our people now, Gordon Sizemore, and you had a chance to talk with him, I mean, he'll tell you it's more than a job. It really is something that this is our family. And so when things happened in the beginning of 2020 with COVID, we weren't scared. We were determined. We were pissed. We were motivated to do more. And I think Katie mentioned going outside the box and feeding people. We're feeding people on borrowed money. Like we were also closed down in our restaurants. And, I think one of the things that family does is you take care of your own. We had to furlough employees. We had closed dining rooms, but we gave everybody a meal every day. We got together for lunch or dinner because it was important, and we talked. How are you holding up? What are you doing? And so I think the culture has been that the family mentality. Everybody has a story. It's a place where everybody can belong. You don't have to be perfect. How do you handle when somebody's told you no? No, that's the walk-on moment. You're not going to make the team, but you're going to play in it because you want to be on the practice team because you have a contribution to give. It's a very interesting culture, and it is what sets us apart, man. Brandon said earlier, it's not food, which is great, and the buildings, which are great. Anybody can knock our food off, knock our building off. They can't knock off our culture because it is
right.
It's authentic, and it just exudes through everybody.
So if you're just now tuning into the Geaux Rouge show, we are talking to the wonderful folks from Walk-Ons. We've been talking about culture and community this segment. Again, guys, if I want to get more information about Walk-Ons, the restaurant, the menus, or just franchising, what websites am I going to go to, Brandon?
We're going to walkons.com, Franz. That's where we're going.
I know. See that's the attorney in me asking the question I already know the answer to. I like it. I like Brandon being the one giving the soundbite. Okay, so if you're not watching on Facebook Live, you might not be able to see. In fact, you can't see the huge map mounted behind Katie. Katie, that is the map, right? That is the where's Walk-Ons. I want to know, what are the hot spots? And I asked this at the break. What are the hot spots that we need to be looking out to? If I wanted to get a plane ticket somewhere awesome and go travel, where can I get my plane ticket to and go fly and go get some Walk-Ons?
My goodness. So I'm not advising that you get a plane ticket and travel. That's at your own discretion, right? It's a weird year with travel, right? If you don't want
Jeanne and HR is like,
there you go. Drop the line. If you'd like to go to one of our newest locations, we just opened our Gonzales location yesterday, and we also opened a location in Port Arthur. So we've got, I can't even give you the number, embarrassingly embarrassingly so, but I don't know how many locations we have open in Texas versus sold. But Jeanne, you know the answer to that one. How many locations we have in Texas?
I don't know
No.
specifically, but
Port Arthur's our newest one that we just opened on Monday, and Gonzales as well. So if you don't want to travel via plane and you're in the Baton Rouge area and you're familiar with Burbank, go check out our newest locations.
So how far west are you guys?
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Midland, Odessa.
Mhm.
We're down in Edinburgh, right by the border.
Love it.
Then we'll be down in Miami. Like I said, Miami opens in a couple of weeks. We have a Tampa located, Wesley Chapel. We have a Vieira on the beach. You know, if you're looking for some warm spots right now, I'd say South Florida.
I can drive. I don't have to fly. I can drive.
Yeah.
All right. So if we got about 2 minutes left, guys, what have we not talked about that we need to share with the audience before we head out? I mean, we've talked about the community. We've talked about the great things the Game On Foundation has been doing to help local youth. We've talked about y'all's expansion. We did talk about the fact that Scott wasn't able to deliver Drew Brees because I picked the bad time of year to have you guys on. We'll have you guys back on again. You know what? I do believe that if anybody could help me get Shaquille O'Neal onto the radio show, I think Brandon Landry is that guy. I'm just throwing that out there. I have a man crush on Shaquille O'Neal, and it only gets better. The more Shaq does non-basketball stuff, the more I'm just like, this dude is awesome. I love every minute. Okay, that's enough about me and Shaq. We've got about a minute left. Thank you guys for tuning in. Brandon, Scott, Jeanne, Katie, thank you guys for giving us some of your valuable time. We will post this up on YouTube as well as the Geaux Rouge website. You guys have a great day. For more information on Geaux Rouge, again, go to www.geauxrouge.com. And look, everybody's trying to support our local restaurants right now. Supporting your local restaurants means you're also supporting the employees, the people that work, they sweat, they cook your food. Go to Walk-Ons. Have some good, tasty food. Dude, the Walk-Ons burger, I'm on board now. I'm on keto, so I take the bread off, but that's neither here nor there. Go have some tasty food at Walk-On. Support a local company that is doing local things for your community. With that being said, you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, Franz.
Okay, man.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Franz.
All right. I'm going to end